Graham Suite Hotel in Michelle and David's suite. Michelle's lying in bed asleep. And as she turned and tried to feel David, only that he's not there, which caused her to open her eyes and realize her husband's not there. And as she sat up, just as David came in with a tray of food, and as he closed the door with his feet and went to where Michelle is, who saw him. What's all this? Just a little something for us to enjoy. And as he put the tray on the table, I gotta say, I'm kinda impressed on how much you love me just to get information out of me raw. This is strictly legit. Okay. And as David got back in bed and faced Michelle, who saw him, and as they began kissing each other. Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in the hallway, Josh was writing down his new schedule. And as he has some flashbacks of him and Rachel talking. Okay, before you get excited, let's try to get some proof of this you speak of. I wouldn't be here if I didn't know what I say isn't true. But I got to know Rachel. And as some flashback ends, with Carl coming to where Joshua is, who saw him. Josh, I didn't know you worked here. And as Josh saw Carl, yeah, I just started. Do I know you? Oh, right. I'm your cousin, Carl Graham. And as Jan also came to where they are. You are not gonna believe this. And as Carl and Joshua saw her. Meanwhile, at the Leaving Book Cafe, Scott's finished paying for his latte. And as he put a $100 bill in a tip jar, which the cashier saw. Thanks, dude. No problem. And as Scott turned and head out and saw his father sitting at one of the tables and went to where he is. Dad. And as he arrived and Chris saw his son. Oh, hey, Scott. How are you? Better, I suppose. Oh, why is that? And as Scott sat down. Well, I better tell you before you find out last. Tell me what? My marriage with Annie is over. Meanwhile, at the Preston Rich Manor in the front area, Gloria and Thomas came in, with Thomas closing the door. I wonder why the fire brigade and the ambulance are here. I don't know, but I don't like the feeling I'm getting. Meanwhile, outside by the guest house, Annie, Vanessa, Linda, Wayne, Stephanie, Paul, and Chad are watching as the paramedics wheel Mimi in the ambulance. And they close the door. Just as another car, along with the squad cars, arrive. Really? Why the cops are here? Cause we're planning to make the ones who killed my aunt pay. Who would have done this? Oh, come on, Annie. You know damn well, just like the rest of us, it's the Rams of good charms. Why would he even do this? One of them couldn't wait to get back at us because they think we had something. Either way, they will pay for this. I agree. Well, I'm afraid that's gonna have to wait. And as Claire and Greg came to where they are, I wanna know who's here. We're all staying here, so if you want a question, just do it already. I saw the CCTV footage, so I wanna speak to you two lot. So unless you lot want obstruction of justice, storm now. This is far from over. And as Linda, Wayne, Stephanie, Paul, and Chad all turned and went in the house. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment and Allison and Jared's apartment, Allison got the door. And it's Isabella who has a bottle of wine in her hand. I could really use some company right now. You have no idea how sane we think. Come in. And as Isabella came in, and as Allison closed the door, and as they head to the kitchen, and arrived just as Allison went, and opened the cabinet and took 2 glasses out and closed it, while Isabella is opening the bottle of wine just as Allison came back. I really miss him. I know. Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Kristen's room, Kristen's lying in bed. To someone knock on the door. And someone came in, and it's revealed to be Michael, who Kristen saw. I am so glad you're here. And as Michael closed the door and went to where Kristen is. Is everything okay with the baby? Yeah. Only that I have more news to tell you. What is it? I'm having twins. Meanwhile, in Andrew's room, Andrew's in a coma with Joseph watching. I swear to you, Dad, I'm gonna find out who did this, one way or another. And as Joseph turned and went and left the room and closed the door and saw Mildred, who's really Jordan, who saw him. Meanwhile, at the Graham Street Hotel in Michelle and David's room, Michelle and David are kissing each other. And as they pull back, I have a proposal. Really? Why didn't I see that coming? Oh wait, I did. Just hear me out. I know our children miss us like crazy, yes? So, that got me thinking. Why don't we what, David? Look, I know I asked this before, and I know we're kind of engaged at the moment, but I'm pretty certain that Dustin and Sheridan will be fine here. Just like, okay, Sheridan will be on board, first of all, but Dustin's at Duke University. There may be a way to change that. Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in the hallway, Jan, Carl, and Joshua are talking. Seriously? What happened to her? Mimi was shot, apparently. There was an unexpected confrontation on the premise. Do they know who? No, but they are reviewing the CCTV camera, and I gotta say, I'm really not surprised. What do you mean by that? Frank and Mimi are the most hatred people on the planet. By the way, I need to talk to you. Sure. And as Carl led Jan to the office. Just as Lauren came to where Joshua is, and he saw her. Lauren, I need your help. Meanwhile, at the Leaving Book Cafe, Chris and Scott are talking. What brought that on? Well, Annie and I were perfect. Well, at least so I thought. So what happened? She didn't tell me about my granddad, which I understand she wanted to protect me and all, but clearly that wasn't her call to make. You wouldn't have done that if the roles were reversed, not you're right. But that's not the reason. Clearly Annie wants to walk away from this marriage because she thinks I don't trust her. Let me give you some advice. I'm all ears, Dad. Meanwhile, outside behind the President Rich Manor, forensic peoples are arriving, and as they set up. While that's happening, Claire and Greg are questioning Annie and Vanessa. So tell us, what happened? I was on my way to get some at the guest house, and when I went out and head there, I bumped into something, and I looked down and saw my mom lying on the ground. Then what else happened? I ran inside and got my sister, which I came. How does the rest of your family know? I texted them. Okay, Annie, you're done. Few more questions for you, Vanessa. And it's Annie's turn and walk away. Meanwhile, inside in the living room, Gloria and Thomas are walking and talking. Till they saw Annie came in from the back area, and they saw her. What's going on? Yeah, we heard that something happened to our mom. Mom was shot tonight. I didn't realize the Grahams and Goodrums had a grudge so deep that they struck back so damn soon. Come on, we don't know who. Oh, wake up, Gloria! Clearly it was the Grahams must have done it, seeing that John has died, thinking our parents did it. But they didn't, now did they? Well, I better tell you before everyone else in this family knows. Tell us what? I'm fulfilling the legacy, and the two of you lot are joining. Then you're dreaming, because Gloria and I have no plans of joining. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Linda, Wayne, Stephanie, Paul, and Chad came in. While Linda went to the cabinet and took out 5 cups. And as she opened a bottle of whiskey and began pouring 5 cups of it. And as she went and gave one to Stephanie, Paul, Chad, and Wayne. I feel like we should have been there. Oi, your mother's a strong person. My money's on Isabella or Ashley. You really think she's capable of, given her history with John? I wouldn't be surprised at all. Meanwhile, back outside by the guest house, forensics are taking pictures of the site where Mimi was shot, while Claire, Greg, and Vanessa are talking. I really wish I know more to what happened. Well, if any of you remember anything else, give us a call or text. Will do. In the meantime, let the rest of your family know that this area is out of bounds till we finish this investigation. And as Vanessa turned and head back in the house, and as Claire looked at Greg, what are you thinking? We need to question every gram on their whereabouts. Who should we start first? If I have to have a guess, I think we should start with John's youngest daughter, Isabella. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment and Allison and Jared's apartment in the living room, Allison and Isabella are talking while they enjoying their wine. I finally gotten to know our dad a few years prior to our younger brother Adam. Yeah, he's taking this hard, just like me. Is that why he left town? He said he had to clear his mind. I really hope he's okay. Me too. You're right. He seemed kind of nervous. And as Isabella has the flashbacks of her confrontation with Mimi, with her and Hannah both aiming the guns at her. Really? You two lot aren't killers at all. Then obviously you don't know as well as you think. Actually, I do. You're a devoted daughter to your father. And you? Just a daughter-in-law in support of her husband who has no idea. Shut up! I am sick and tired of you laying out things that you clearly don't know about. But I do. And as the flashback ends, with Isabella looking at Allison. I'm fine. Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Kristen's room, Kristen and Michael are talking. You're having twins? Well, it is hard to describe to how that's even possible for the matter. I'll tell you this. That bastard helped himself to my wife when she was vulnerable at the most due to a mishap between me and Wilma. And I'm sorry that I misread that. I really am. Okay, what's the problem? According to what Gwen said, I can only carry one child. So what do you want to do about it? Ah, Michael, you're here. And as Gwen came in and closed the door, and Kristen and Michael saw her, just as she came to where they are. I'm glad that you're here. I trust that Kristen has filled you in on what's about to happen. Meanwhile, outside Andrew's room, Joseph and Mildred Lily Jordan are talking. Mom, where have you been? I've been calling and texting you like crazy, Joseph. I was with your grandparents, comfort them during this difficult time. And then there's also my grandfather's death, aka your great-grandfather's death. Anyways, they're coming to see how you're doing. I'm doing fine. How's your father doing, by the way? He hasn't moved. Did the doctors examine him? Yeah, apart from the fact that he's been in a coma due to the fact he was poisoned. But you know all about that now, don't you? Is there something you want to ask me? What makes you think that? I don't know. I'm getting sort of an attitude vibe coming from my own son, which I don't need right now. Alright, answer this. Did you try to kill my father? Meanwhile, at the Graham Street Hotel in Michelle and David's room, Michelle and David are talking. David, that money you and I paid to have our son continue his education doesn't exactly fall from trees. I meant transferring Dustin here from USC to UCLA. I mean, with the connections we got, we can make it seem possible. Also, he was in NYC, which he's currently right now. He didn't like Duke, which is why we transferred him to New York City, not just to bring him back here. Look, I know how you feel about doing this, but we need all the family close together. I get it, But it seems to me we're doing favors by playing favors. Technically, we kinda are. Honey, I love you, but Destin's not a kid anymore. He's a grown-up. Why are you against this when you want to have him here in the first place? I have my own reasons, which is I'm worried to how they react when they meet Michael. Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in the hallway, Lauren and Joshua are talking. You're joking, right? I wouldn't come to you if I didn't have any concern. Why would my sister all of a sudden get worried about Kyle? He's been acting different. And also your sister Mildred. In case you didn't know, we lost our grandfather and both Emily and Mildred have their own way of showing grief. You're right. How you holding up by all this? I'm fine. Look, don't do anything till you have proof, which I'm quite certain there isn't. Excuse me. And as Joshua turned and heads to the front, while Lauren got her iPhone up and called someone, but it beeps and she stopped and saw a text saying, I know what your darkest secret is. And as Lauren began looking around, feeling worried. Meanwhile, in Sheldon and Jan's office, Jan and Carl are talking. Wow, you must really love her. Yeah, I do. Well, I must say, you are a great dad to Brian. And I really don't understand to why Lucy and Tristan took, well, as you know, I have a hearing, possibly having me reclaim custody of my son. That's really good to hear. In fact, Sheldon and I are planning to promote you. Really? Where did that come from? Carl, let's be honest. You are a good worker who deserves to be treated as such. Thank you. Anyways, I'll see you later. Come by tomorrow after your shift, and my husband and I explain more. And as Carl got up and went and left the office. Meanwhile, at the Leaving Book Cafe, Chris and Scott are talking. You and Annie are parents to two awesome twins, and the two of you lot owe it to them to be a family no matter what. What do you mean? I'm talking about roadblocks, challenges, and obstacles that stand in your way. You lot have to sort that out. I would if I could. What's stopping you? She's planning to fulfill her family's legacy. Oh, that's such rubbish, and you believe that, really? I really don't know what to believe, Dad. She doesn't want to see you hurt over my dad. I have a right to know either way in the end. Yes, you do, but don't let that ruin your marriage. You need to sort this fast. Meanwhile, at the President Rich Manor in the living room, Annie, Gloria, and Thomas are talking. You can't be serious! We are. No way in hell Thomas and I or the rest of us are fulfilling that damn legacy. I think you're only saying this because you know exactly how Scott will react. Do you now? You really think you know me at all? You are our sister, and clearly you love Scott. Remember, we may be Collins, but we're not quitters. Says you with Cassie, I'm planning to sort my own marriage, as long as you do the same to yours. And as Linda came out from the kitchen to the living room to where they are, and they all saw her. We need you lot to come with us to the hospital. And as Stephanie, Paul, Shine, and Wayne all came from the kitchen towards the living room, and they all saw. Where's Mom? At the hospital. Let's go. And as they all went and left the living room. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment and Allison and Jared's apartment in the living room, Isabella and Allison are talking while they enjoying their wine. Should Jared and I stay longer? To Allison, I'm fine. I just got a lot in me head. Why don't you come back with us? Because 3 is clearly a crowd. You're my sister. We look out for each other to the end. By the way, Sean and I are official. Really? Yeah. Our dad's death made me realize that I can't hold on to a man who already has a family. Even though you don't like Vince for our sister Angela, I've seen Angela in a new light, and the both of us has gotten past what happened. I'm glad to hear that. And as someone began knocking on the door, Who is it? LAPD, the police, which alarms Isabella. Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Kristen's room, Gwen, Kristen, and Michael are talking. So she's having twins. She is. So why can't I carry them both to term? What you have is called a word twin pregnancy. I don't know the meaning of the word, but it means you got pregnant twice, but in a different time period. Okay, Gwen, why don't you break it down to me so I can see it clear? You can only carry one, and if you don't, it'll be fatal. In fact, you need to decide now on which baby stays. Is that all what we have to do? Trust me, you'll be the first to know should something different come in mind. Can I have a minute with my husband? Sure, but don't be too long. Time is wasted. And it's Gwen's turn and went. I left the room. And it's Michael facing Kristen. That is a major decision we have to make. Honestly, I've already made a choice, but I don't know if I can go through. What have you decided? Meanwhile, outside Andrew's room, Mildred, Willie, Jordan, and Joseph are talking. Seriously, Joseph? You're making a serious assumption, did you or did you not? It's a simple question, Mom. You know damn well I would never lay harm to the man I love. I love that man that's lying in the bed in that room who happens to be your father. Where the hell did you get off? I'm just gonna say, because I know several people must be thinking about it. And what exactly would that be? You've been acting different since you returned from being captured from the colonies and all. So that's just it. I'm the bad guy. Is that what you're saying to me? It's what I see, Mom. I know you would never behave. You know what? You have really lost the plot. You're the one who came to your father and I claiming that you're our son. And though we were skeptical at best, we took a chance believing that you are, letting you into our world. And this is the thanks to your own cult of crap. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that you're not my mother. And one way or another, I'm planning to prove it. And it's Joseph's turn and walk away. Good luck with that, and I really mean it. Good luck trying to prove it. Meanwhile, let's get to Joseph, who's continued walking down the hall. To suddenly, he's pulled into the empty patient room, and as they close the door, and as he faced the person who pulled him into the empty patient room, who is no other than his ex-girlfriend Janet.